Hello Internet, welcome back once more to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Blade Showcase, and we're finally going to be using one of the most requested blades on this channel, and ironically the last blade I ever unlocked, it's Zenobia. Zenobia is a very popular and considered one of the very best blades in the entire game for very good reason. So we're going to go ahead, business as usual, head into the Affinity charts. You'll actually see here that everything you need to do to unlock the Affinity is by finding unique monsters and then killing them, which can either be the easiest or hardest thing in the world, depending on how you feel about using guides. But the ones that I have maxed out right now are going to be the focal point of what we're going to be talking about today. You can know immediately what the developers wanted Zenobia to be. She is the de facto boss killer of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And this is very apparent in her Carnage ability. Actually, all of her passives work together to some effect, but Carnage is very good because just right off the bat, whenever you fight against a boss enemy, you don't even need to have max affinity to have 100% extra damage when battling a boss or unique enemy. This is really good, considering that most of the time you will be fighting bosses post-game anyway, and unique enemies, even weaker unique enemies lower level than you, this still works on them. It's very useful if all you want to do is just farm for materials, ox cores, things like that. There's also the Indomitable. The Indomitable is very useful because it increases the damage even further by an additional 80% because most of the super bosses, all the super bosses are going to be higher level than you no matter what, because the level cap is 99, most of them stretch upwards to 130. This is very useful, and it also stacks with the hero's vambraces and boxer gloves. This means that you can have about an additional 140 damage just for fighting against that, for fighting against a higher leveled enemy. So it also stacks with this, so that would be like 240 damage. Then you also have the, let's say, a World Tree drop, that's another 250. It's very useful and something that you'll never have to worry about. Again, both of her passives are very clear in what they want to do, and that's really good. There's also Greatest Warrior. Surprisingly, you're going to get a lot of usage out of this. Despite the fact that Zenobia was designed specifically for fighting against bosses, when you fight against regular enemies, no matter what, you're going to be finding yourself against multiple people. This is really useful for people that get Zenobia early on in the game, if they're that lucky, because, yeah, upwards to 250% is quite nice. That means that, like, after 7 enemies on the entire map, you will get maxed out. You might not reach the max value, but 40% more damage for each enemy is still nothing to sneeze at. Definitely something very good to look at. So, we're going to have a quick look at her specials before we move on. Diabolic Zephyr. It's just one of those things where the effects, while tantalizing, can't really be put to good use due to the fact of how healing works in this game. You're never going to reach 30% or less, because, especially in late game, you probably might end up dying when you reach that point, so you can't really make use of it. Same thing goes for Adamantine Axe. Like, damage to toppled enemies is very nice, it's quite useful, especially for people that are familiar with using a Wolfric. If you guys are good at getting the timing down, this is actually pretty good. But the problem is, though, is again, most of the super bosses that she is meant to be fighting against have resist to break and topple, meaning that you might not get good use. That's okay, though, because her level 3 combo Ascension Blade is amazing. It's 100% extra damage to higher leveled enemies. So, say just from these stats alone, you're going to have a grand total of 280% damage using this attack, and because of the way that Zenobia works, the Great Axe moveset works, you're actually going to be able to build this special really quickly. For every Great Axe user, whenever you get a crit, if you have that weapon art maxed out, it's a 100% recovery for every crit that you do, and as it happens, the character that I'm currently running Zenobia with, actually does have a 2-hit attack. This is Morag with her Admiral Waltz. With Admiral Waltz, it hits twice, meaning you have 2 chances to get that 100% proc. It's extremely useful, and I recommend anyone that has the Great Axe to just invest immediately into this kind of attack, the one that recharges arts based on critical hits. So yeah, in terms of the actual affinity, ox cores, there is going to be critical up, because again, we want to make sure that we can be spamming as constantly as possible. Fast Blade Switch, you could run with this one if you want. The reason why you would mainly do this is if you're running with World Tree Drop. Otherwise, outdoor damage might be useful, or max affinity attack. As well, I'm going to be running special level 1 plus 5, even though I said that the level 1 special wasn't that great, but my main focus for this particular build, for this video today, is building up the chain attacks and then spamming the level 1 specials with the multipliers. It also goes in tandem with the accessories we're going to be using today. So we're going to be using the Avant-Garde Medal, which is 22% critical damage dealt as HP, which is really, really nice. And the Omega Drive, for every crit that Zenobia is doing, and she's going to be critting all the time, or almost all the time, you're going to fill the party gauge really quickly. This will be very useful in conjunction with my other teammates, who will be using Cosmos and Herald. It's a very, very cool thing. I'm actually going to be doing 2 demonstrations today. We're going to be not just fighting a super boss, but we'll also be fighting against a unique, just to show off what exactly she's capable of. She's a very versatile character, this Zenobia, and I cannot wait to showcase to you guys. See you guys there. Oh boy, here we are once more. You guys are probably getting sick of this place if you've been watching all my showcase videos, but we're once again at the Profane's place. The nice thing about Zenobia is that she actually doesn't need you to have maxed out Affinity to enjoy all of her benefits, or most of her benefits. Most of them is just right off the bat. As long as you're fighting against a unique or a boss, you will do well. And even if it's just regular enemies, again, she has her greatest fighter ability, which is extremely useful. One of the things about this is that I highly recommend using a crit build, particularly for building up your level 3 combo. The main playstyle will just be building up your level 3 combo, build up your meter as fast as possible, and then your party gauge should be maxed out in a couple of casts. It's very, very good. The other nice thing about this too is that since we have the Avant-Garde, it means a full heal. I highly recommend running blades that give you higher HP, but if, for the purposes of this particular showcase, we're actually going to be running with strength modifiers, both 24% strength modifiers on these 2 common blades here. But that's the nice thing about Zenobia though, is that you can totally do that even if you are just running through the main game, because she's very self-sufficient, extremely self-sufficient. The reason why she's so good is the fact that she doesn't have to focus on building up orbs, she just comes with raw damage. Okay, so what's going to happen here is that I'm going to try to build myself a level 3 combo. The reason why is because I'm going to try to build up a second orb right before we actually initiate the chain attack. So, just wait for these arts to continue. There we go. Also, in terms of the items that I'm using right now, I am currently running with a, what's it called? Party gauge gain increase by a certain percent, as well as arts recharge boosts. The reason why is that even though you are technically able to spam your attacks indefinitely due to the fact that you can get cooldowns, I'm actually just doing this because there is the off chance that it doesn't work, or there will be times where I just somehow do not crit. And I don't want to be in that situation. It's a very dangerous situation, especially now that I have very little HP to work with. So it's just sort of a safety net, really, because it's going to throw off my balance, it'll prevent me from healing. It's just a very unfavorable position, and I'm not afraid to sacrifice some other utility if it means that I can just stay safe the entire time. Alright, so if I were to make a comparison for Zenobia, I would say that she's essentially like Mithra, in the sense that Mithra has a lot of, the same concept of doing a crit to reset the cooldown, but with Zenobia there's more of an emphasis on killing boss enemies, and I would say that Zenobia actually serves that end a little bit better, because even though she lacks the topple, she actually does more damage overall. Okay, so we have a Titan's Awakening coming in. I'm actually going to wait to see, probably just build a level 2 combo, I think. Okay, let's see how this goes. And then once we finish the level 2 combo, okay, I think we're going to be okay. That is quite a bit of damage. Actually, no. Well, let's just go ahead and cancel out, give ourselves the invincibility. This will be a full heal thanks to Cosmos. But, yeah, like I was saying earlier, though, the whole thing about Zenobia is that she serves largely the same purpose as Mithra, except that she doesn't have a topple. That's going to be the main difference there. The thing about that, though, the reason why I would consider Zenobia a little bit better, is because you don't have to worry about getting topples for your fights. It's mainly just due to the fact that most super bosses have high resistance to breaks and topples, so you don't need to rely on that nearly as much, and it's just useful overall. And again, feel free to experiment with different combinations of your common blades, because common blades will actually increase your damage or increase your survivability depending on what you use. Alright, so we're actually building up quite a nice amount of damage right now. You'll actually notice that I've been getting a lot of stat percentage modifiers just due to the fact that I've been searching high and low to finally get my my Zenobia. Totally worth it though. Okay, so here comes the Ultra Annihilation Flare. Gonna go ahead and just cancel that out with this. So that's the reason why I did that though. This guy has a lot of annoying one-shot abilities, and because of the way that my party is built, it's just pure damage at this point. We have no survivability, we will not be able to survive that. So now it's just a matter of bringing ourselves back up. A level 4 combo should be more than enough, so hopefully I can reach that fast. Might not be able to, he might die. Okay, so this is going to be the really tricky part of this situation. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run over to Zeke, bring him back up, and then I'm going to try to build myself a level 4 combo. Zenobia's level 4 combo is really good. It's really, really good for building up that meter, like as you will see shortly. Okay, so I'm going to wait for him to do a scary attack before I do it. It should be halfway through. There we go, that's the scary attack. One-shot kill? No thank you. So like this is really, really good for building up meter. Most of the time it would be like half of all 3 bars. It's really nice. Also, Zenobia gives critical up. That's always good. Also one thing I want to add too, the fact that she, that Zenobia has a blowdown. That's extremely good for clutch situations and just really fun to use. Seriously, like, tell me that it's not hilarious to see this guy just randomly fall over on his face. Come on, tell me. But yeah, that's going to be basically curtains for this guy. He's going to resist my light attacks from Cosmos, but it doesn't matter because our damage potential as a team overall is just really, really good. Like I said, this is going to be a break, and then we go straight into overkill mode. Good stuff. So yeah, like I said earlier, comparison to like Mythra, Mythra's like more of the jack of all trades in comparison. Like Mythra's still really good, don't get me wrong, but with Mythra you constantly have to be repositioning yourself. You have to like move yourself into a position where your attacks do bonus damage, whereas Zenobia doesn't have to worry about that at all because the bonus damage just comes from the fact that you're fighting against a boss. So the video is not going to be over yet. We're actually going to fight one more guy, and just to show you what this girl can do. She's such a fun blade, and very fittingly so, the last one that I ever unlocked, just because of how strong she is. I can see why people like her so much. But we're going to do one more. Alrighty, so here we are for the second and last demonstration for today's video, and we're going to be fighting against Mr. Armoron, or Arderon. This is probably my favorite spot for fighting against the, what's it called? Fighting against a unique boss in order to get rare and legendary cores. If you haven't seen my video for farming that, I will put that at the end of the video, so feel free to look at that if you want to be able to unlock blades such as Zenobia. The nice thing about this particular boss fight is that even though we will not be able to make use of the bonus damage that we get for fighting against higher leveled enemies, this still is a relatively safe fight, and you're going to see how quickly the damage output of Zenobia will actually be able to get us through this boss battle fairly quickly. So currently I am running with a increased damage Ox Core on my level 4 combo, so we're going to go ahead and do that, get myself some extra damage. Again, you don't need to have full affinity to get the full experience with Zenobia, but once you do have it though, it's pretty nice. Not to mention, as I said earlier, this is a very, very good move for bringing up your meters to the max. So again, like earlier, it's just going to be more and more canceling every chance that we get. Very, very easy to do as well. You know what, we're probably just going to go ahead, give ourselves maybe a level 3 combo since we're fighting against a unique. So give ourselves that extra damage and build the electric orb. Just like with before, the general strategy that I prefer to do when using Zenobia is that I'm going to only use the Thunder Gale when I have built up quite a bit of meter or special for myself. Unfortunately, I did not get the proc like last time, so we can go ahead and do this. And I think because we are just spending our time, we might as well just do this right now. So the general idea, the kind of playstyle that I've been using lately is it's a fairly risky business. If you're fighting against enemies like Orion, it might not work because he can see Sea Eater Death, but like what you saw with Tyrannotitan Cooldowns, I actually made use of just conserving my invincibility cooldowns and then using them only when I saw that he's going to do big attacks such as this. But thankfully, though, we won't have to worry about it too much. Again, because we don't have a healer, we have to play around that. I recommend having high HP modifiers on your drivers. That would make things a lot easier. But thankfully, because you're Zenobia, you just have like you have no cooldowns whatsoever. It's Mithra if Mithra only had one attack. Just kind of think of it like that. And we're gonna go ahead and cancel things out. Once we do this, we're going to go immediately into the special. This will be a full heal thanks to Cosmos. And I feel that right now, the blades being used in this video are... Like, I think the general consensus is that they're considered the best blades in the entire game in terms of sheer damage output. Like, Herald has amazing damage once you get max affinity. Cosmos is quite nice at max affinity as well, a great utility with her heal, as well as having a very strong level 1 combo, as you see here. And Zenobia, again, jack of all trades in the sense that she can pretty much carry the team all on her own. You could build your team around her, but in terms of the driver's loadout, you don't have to worry too much about, you know, doing things right or doing things wrong. She can adapt very easily. So yeah, again, we can give ourselves a full heal with Cosmos here. Look at this damage that we're going to do as well. It's crazy. And then, the level 3 combo, as I said earlier, is also able to build up the meters, or build up the party gauge really quickly. We're not even gonna cancel that out, we can go straight into this. And here we go. So you see how much meter that was? If I saved for the level 4 combo, I think that would have been even more, but we don't have to worry about that. Again, no cooldowns whatsoever, you're constantly fighting. If you have an Avant-Garde medal, for those of you guys that don't know, the level 3 legendary version can be looted from Haywire Radcliffe. You'll have to fight against Haywire Radcliffe if you want to max out Poppy, or Poppy QT Pie. Yeah, go for the Thunder Gale again. If I did that a little bit earlier, I might have been able to miss the Tank March, but that's okay. So, but yeah, the Avant-Garde medal, for those of you guys that don't know, it heals people based on your critical damage. It's very useful, especially on Mithra and Zenobia, and definitely something you want to look forward to, really. Like, you don't really lose anything for... you don't really lose anything by not using Mithra with Zenobia. Like, they kind of work very well apart from each other, so it's really cool. We probably don't even need to... We probably don't even need to do a team attack. How about we just use Zenobia to the full extent? I mean, real talks, the only reason why we're even doing a second showcase isn't even because you guys need to know. You guys are pretty sure, like, I don't have to sell you guys on this and how good Zenobia is. The real reason why we're doing this is because I just love using Zenobia so much. She is one of my new favorite blades right now, and totally worth the wait, because for those of you guys that know, she is the last blade I've ever unlocked. And it's gonna be great. So guys, that does it for the Zenobia showcase. Arguably the best blade in the game, one of the best. I think people will debate till the end of time who the best is, whether it's their favorite or even objectively speaking, but she definitely is worth your consideration for people that are working through the post-game fighting the super bosses. Anyways guys, thanks very much for joining me for the showcase, and I will see you guys next time. Take care everyone.